Welcome back. On this video, I'm going to show you how to make this cute little pig with the top hat made with sugar paste and a Cadbury Creme Egg. I'll swap cameras now so that you'll have a better view of what I'm doing. I've already coloured some sugar paste. You could use marzipan, you could use modelling paste. I've coloured a nice pale pink colour. Wrap your egg. And I'm using tiny little 4-inch cut edge boards because I think they're a lovely size just to hold the animal. First thing I need to do is make some legs. So I'm just going to use a small amount of paste, roll it into a sausage. You don't want the legs too fat. If you use the palm of your hand to roll, you'll get less humps and bumps in it. So I'm cutting the end off, cut the legs. If you measure, use the previous leg to measure, you can just cut 4 legs that are more or less the same size. There we go. Remember to keep your paste covered. It'll dry out quite quickly. I have melted some chocolate in a mug that I have sitting beside me in a saucepan of hot boiling water. That just keeps it melted for longer. I'm just going to put a little bit of chocolate on the base of my legs. Beauty of doing these animals is they don't have to be ultra accurate or correct. And kids just love making them. I'm now going to put a little bit of chocolate. Again, don't put too much chocolate on. I like to use chocolate rather than royal icing for sticking together because it is the same colour as my egg. So I'm going to pop my egg on the top now and try and put it so that the legs are in the middle. There we are. So it's sitting nicely. I'm going to add the snout. This is unusual in that the head and body are all the same egg, but it still looks lovely. Roll this. A little dab of chocolate on the thin end. I have just made this into a ball. I'm going to flatten that ever so slightly so it's like a mini marshmallow and stick that on the end. I'm then going to use the back of my paintbrush to give him 2 nostrils, quite deep. And you can use a modelling tool or a scissors to just give him a little open mouth. So I'm just going to snip the base. So he's got a little smiley mouth. Then I'm going to add the ears. To do the ears, I'm just using a tiny bit of paste, about the size of a pea. I'm going to cut that in half because I want both ears to be identical. Roll it back into a ball, just to make sure that you're reasonably the right size. I'm rolling these into a little cone now, small cone shape, and use the back of your paintbrush to press in to the ear. And if you do that, you get a lovely rounded ear. I'm just going to stick these on now with a little bit of chocolate, not too close to the front, about 1/3 of the way along the egg. I'm just holding that with the paintbrush slightly. Press it down to make sure it sticks. I find if I use my fingers, I get chocolate everywhere. Second ear, press my brush in. A little bit of chocolate on this other side of his head. And again, I will just use the back of my paintbrush to hold that down. So you can see his ears are quite high up. Some pigs have ears that flop down. I quite like to give them just a little bend, and it makes them a bit more character. The eyes, as with my last animals, I've just a tiny bit of royal icing in here, and what I'm going to do is just put 2 tiny little balls of royal icing on there. If you don't have royal icing, just use white fondant, sugar paste, modeling paste, anything you like. So while I'm waiting for that to just skin off, I shall add his tail. And pigs have lovely curly tails. So I just want to roll a sausage in my hand, get it a bit thinner on one end, and then I just twirl that like a spring. And there's a curly tail. Again, because this piece of sugar paste is quite small, I find it easier to put the chocolate on the tail where I want. Could just put it on his bottom like that, and then it's easier to attach that. I find if I try to put the chocolate onto my sugar paste, I can get it everywhere. So I've got to paint his eyes. I just have a tiny bit, very, very fine brush, and a little bit of colour. I'm using ice blue sugar flare colours, but you can use anything you like. You could even use a little spot of sugar paste. But I think that's more difficult to do, to get them tiny. And again, make sure that the eyes face in one direction or the other, not straight. So he looks like he's looking over to the side. So I'll put a few eggs on here to make him look like he's finding the food. I want a little hat on him, so I shall make a little top hat. Very simple to make. This is marzipan this time. Just a great way of using up scraps of colour. Little pea, squash it down and move your finger to side. That's about the size of a 5p. Another pea-sized bit of paste. Make it into a bowl, into a little cylinder. Put it on the top. Because this is marzipan, it's quite fresh. It'll just stick together beautifully. So put it on the top. I'm just pressing it down a bit so it's not too tall. And that is my lovely hat, which I think is great for a pig. I could add a ribbon to that. I could add a little flower to the side. If I kept the top more as a bowl, it would be a bowler hat. Just pop that between his ears. And again, I'll add, because he's looking over this way, I'll put a couple of bits of chocolate down and add some of these mini eggs. I'm using Cadbury mini eggs, and I am also using some Terry's chocolate orange ones. Chocolate orange are very vibrant, very, very bright. But it's springtime, we can go for really strong colours. And there's a few eggs by his side. So that is my finished little pig. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you'll come back again to watch another animal. I shall make a couple more animals on different videos.